This lesson is on the different types of rocks in the rock cycle. There are three main types of rocks that we are going to look at today: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. The first type of rock we're going to look at is igneous rock. Igneous rocks form when magma or lava cools on the Earth's surface or deep inside the Earth. That lava cools and hardens to create this igneous rock. We know magma when it is inside the ground, but when magma reaches the Earth's surface, we then call it lava. And these are two pictures of different types of igneous rocks that can be formed. Rocks can be changed by weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks. Rain, plants' roots, and changes in temperature all can cause weathering. It is breaking down the rocks and causing it to change into something else. This picture here is an example of weathering. Weathering will create clay, sand, and rock fragments or pebbles. Erosion is the wearing away and removing of rock materials, as we see in this picture here. The water is removing parts of that rock to create like a little cave almost. Wind, ice, running water like rivers, and waves all can create erosion. So when rocks are broken down and washed away, that is caused from weathering and erosion, they create sediments. Sediments are pieces of rock or sand. Sediments that will then pile on the ground or underwater and will continue to be buried with more and more sediment, creating layers of sediment. And after a long time, the layers then become cemented or pressed together, forming sedimentary rock like we see here. Sedimentary rock have visible layers, layers that you can see. You can see the different types of layers right here in this picture of this rock. The most common type of rock that fossils are found in are sedimentary rock, because when animals or plants die, they will get covered with this sediment, and over time that sediment would start to compact and cement together, forming the sedimentary rock with the remains of those animals or plants inside. So this picture here is a picture of fossils of shells that were covered with sediment and over time created a rock with these fossils in it. The last type of rock is the metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic means change. When tadpoles change into frogs, they go through the process of metamorphosis. Metamorphic is just like metamorphosis, they change. So when rocks are pushed deeper and deeper into the earth, that rock begins to heat up. The heat is caused by pressure that's within the earth. We have learned before that heat and pressure increase as you go further and further into the earth. So the heat is actually caused by the pressure that is built up within that earth. If you were to press your hands together and then rub them together, you will start feeling heat. That is how it is inside the earth as well. That pressure keeps building upon each other, creating heat as well. Well, that heat and pressure within the earth change igneous and sedimentary rock that go deep inside the earth into metamorphic rock. And here are two examples of metamorphic rock. You can see how they're kind of shiny. It's because of that heat and pressure making these little shiny parts in it. The rock cycle, just like the water cycle, how water goes from the different processes with evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and all that, rocks also go through a cycle to create new rocks. So here's just a picture to help you kind of visualize how rocks in the rock cycle change from one type to another. So here we have magma inside the earth. Magma can erupt out of a volcano to create lava, or it can start to cool and harden as it's making its way through the ground in the earth. When it cools and hardens, you get your igneous rock. as that igneous rock continues to get to the Earth's surface, weathering and erosion cause those rocks to break down. Those fragments that they break down into, or sediment, are then transported and deposition occurs. Deposition is just taking parts of rock material from one place to another and depositing it somewhere else. So those sediments then go and creates layers called sedimentation. Then we have compaction and cemented, how they get glued together to create sedimentary rock. After that, sedimentary rock can either melt and become magma again, and when it cools and hardens can turn into igneous rock, or it can continue to go deep inside the earth with the high temperatures and pressures to create metamorphic rock. And then metamorphic rock could be pushed up towards the surface and be weathered and eroded away to create sediments again, to create a sedimentary rock, or that metamorphic rock could melt to form magma, then cools and hardens to create igneous rock. So the rock cycle is constantly moving. Rocks are continuously going from one type to another. But remember, this takes time. This takes a lot of time. You're not going to see rocks change overnight. So, to recap, igneous rocks form from magma or lava that cools and hardens. Sedimentary rock is created by sediment that is layered atop of each other that gets cemented and compacted together to create these types of rocks. And metamorphic rock is created by heat and pressure deep inside the earth.